When you're sitting around scrolling or observing people and they have something you want, the relationship, the money, the success, the confidence, the freedom, the body, the health, whatever it may be, it can be really easy to one, go into comparison, and two, to make up a story that in order to have what this person has that you want so badly in your life, that it's going to be hard, it's going to be sacrificing, it's going to be miserable, there's going to be a catch. And that is simply your ego's way of keeping you safe, keeping you small, keeping you settled into your current status because that's the known and this other thing is the unknown. And I know this because I used to do the same thing too until I ate through 10 years of my life in resistance, in settling, in holding myself back from living out my true dream, purpose, and passion of having this brand and having this podcast and doing what I was meant to do all along. I'm going to take you through my biggest launch ever to date inside Project Me, peel back the curtain so you can see how easy and fun it really gets to be. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. So, if you have been listening since episode 600, you know we are going to an entirely new vibe on this show. So, it's going to be the same in the sense of what you already love, but a different level of unhinged. I am someone who, in general, doesn't hold back anymore in my life, like a true zero fucks given. I will say, I have noticed as the show has gone viral many times, we are consistently in the tops of the charts, which thank you so much for all of your support and sharing the show. And I have a gift for every single one of you today. And that gift is you get my content creation course bundle for free in exchange for you doing a written review of the show. Now, right now, the only platform, as far as I know, that you can do a written review is Apple Podcasts. So do a written review in Apple Podcasts. You can Google how to do it if you don't know how. There's tons of YouTube videos showing you. It takes 30 seconds. Put your name or Instagram or TikTok handle in the review so we can cross-reference it. Take a screenshot and email us at support@projectmewithtiffany.com, and we will give you instant access to my content creation made easy course bundle. This is what is going to get you started on monetizing your gifts, passions, and talents online. And even if you're someone who's already doing it, it'll make it really clear what you need to tweak and refine and massage in order to get that cash flowing in. Okay. So you want this. This is open to my iHeartRadio listeners, Spotify, Audible, my YouTube listeners as well. You guys just need to do a post about this on any of your social media platforms and tag me, and then take a screenshot of that and email it to us. These instructions are right inside the show notes, so you can swipe up, or it's right here in the description over on YouTube, Project Me TV. And let me tell you something, whether you're a YouTuber or not, you need to start getting into this shiz, okay? Because I am experimenting with having in-person guests. That doesn't mean every guest is going to be in person, because I want this to feel free and easy and expansive. And I am going to be doing lots of travel, but I am for sure having in-person guests, and they're going to be in my money bed. And no, I'm not joking. Like in bed with Tiff, in the money bed. And I am recording the first one on Monday. So yes, you're still going to obviously get a lot out of it by listening to the audio, but I think you're going to for sure want to see the shenanigans of all of this. And there's a lesson there in that. Just because I've had all of this great success, you could go, well, Tiff, you can just keep continuing going how you're going. You're growing, you're having fun with it, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, but you don't reach your next level in anything you do, in your business, in your life, in your fitness, in your relationships, in your personal growth. You got to shake it up. And it's more so because it shakes up your energy. So you've got to ask yourself, if things have plateaued in your business, you got to shake it up. What do I need to do to bring the fun back in? Where do I have energy leakages? What feels heavy to me? How can I lighten this load? And that's exactly what I did with the podcast, which is why we've got our new refreshed version and what we're doing and experimenting. And guess what? When it's your own business, it's your own brand, it's your own show, you can change your mind at any given time, period. Same with you guys who have a jobby job. You can change your mind. You don't have to be there. You could take your side hustle to a whole nother level. You get to pivot, as long as, not that you can't do it, but you want to just be careful that you're not just zigzagging and pivot because you're not giving it enough time. That's why it's so dangerous to do this whole entrepreneurship thing on your own, because you can't see what you're doing, because our minds are so manipulative and cunning and crazy. You'll end up sabotaging yourself in such a subconscious way that you can't see it. And you pay a big price for that, a big cost for that, which is one of the many reasons why it is a no-brainer and why I justify having private coaches and being in a high-level mastermind and investing in going on retreats and having a therapist and all this stuff, is because I know what the cost is going to be for me continuing to settle, for me to not do the thing, for me to continue deprioritizing stuff and making excuses and not following through. The price is nothing gets done and nothing happens. So you want to make sure that you're putting enough on the line that is going to get you to show up. And that's different for everybody. So my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership, I would say, is a great starting point or a great add-on point for you to be able to have a place that's safe, that's fun, that's legit, where you are getting support, you are getting strategy, you're getting weekly live trainings on most weeks, whether it's with me or a special guest expert that I brought in. So you're getting these money mindset trainings, you're getting these reframings. You are also getting the actual strategy. Like I just had an incredible expert who's a private client of mine come in and teach about how to leverage LinkedIn to get high quality clients, high ticket clients, and exactly how to do it, like with a slide deck and everything. I mean, that training in of itself could easily be sold for $800 without a doubt. And so you have that in there right now for a limited time. We're about to pull it. You can get my 2-hour Nail Your Niche Masterclass. And it also includes how to optimize your Instagram bio to get thousands of people, of ideal clients, to discover you, and literally what you need to do in there. I'm going to make that only available for the annual members. So you can have an annual membership where you get 2 months for free. That's the best deal. And that's you saying, I'm committing to this for a year. And that's important. I mean, there's a reason why when you go to work with someone who's actually honest and isn't just about your money, they have a certain length of time that you at least initially have to commit to, because they know anything less than that, you're not going to see the results. I would say ideally you need to commit to a year in the posse. And if for whatever reason that's not in the cards for you, I have a month-to-month membership that's in there. And again, for a limited time, you can get my Nail Your Niche Masterclass, whether you're month to month or annual, but I'm about to pull it. We only have a handful of new member spots left. I keep this capped at an intimate size so I can integrity refer to it as a group coaching membership. Obviously, it's not private coaching for $3.33 a day. Okay. So to get in there, the link is right in the show notes in the description here on YouTube. It's at the top of my page on Instagram and TikTok at projectmewithtiffany.com/projectme posse. And if you have resistance to paying in order for you to know what you need to do in your business, in your personal growth, in your wealth mindset to go to the next level, we got some digging to do. Like, why? Why would you resist paying for high quality help in order to be able to go to the next level? Maybe because you've paid for shit before and it's not worked. Maybe because you think you want to do this thing or you want it, but you want it, but you don't truly want it. It just doesn't make sense for me. You've got to make a move. What you don't change, you keep choosing. I'm going to say that again because I know you need to hear this today. What you don't change, you keep choosing, continuing to say I'm stuck, continuing to say I'm confused, continuing to say I'm overwhelmed, continuing to say I need to figure it out. You're only going to stay in that zone and you're choosing to stay in that spot. In order to change it, you've got to shake it up. So let's go behind the curtain of this launch. And I have this saying I love, and I did not come up with this saying. I just don't remember where I heard it. And it was a long time ago. I plan the work and work the plan. It gets to be that simple. And how did my signature program, Selling with Soul, which is a group coaching program, teaching people how to sell in a way that feels good to them and their ideal clients, and how to craft your offers and your messaging and your content so that it converts and it sells for you, but it does it in a genuine way. There's no gimmicks. There's no manipulation. It's me teaching you my proprietary emotional-based sales techniques that I have been using and refining for 16 years. I want to start out by saying the issue why you're not getting more people in your group programs or your membership, anything where you want more people. This could go for in-person events and retreats too. It's a little bit different, but also the same, just a little bit of a different structure, is because you've probably put it out there once or twice. And then when you see that no one signed up or one person signed up and you were like, God, I was hoping for at least 4. And then you end up in so much resistance that you don't put it out again and you don't launch it again and you don't pull back and go, okay, what didn't work in this launch? What can I do differently? Where's the disconnect, the emotional disconnect, the trust disconnect between me and my ideal client, the visibility disconnect and getting enough eyes on this program that I need to improve? Who can I hire so that I can get clear help in this area from someone who's already proven to do it? Instead, what I know a lot of you do is it feels like shit. And it brings up all of your inner stuff of, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I don't have what it takes. People buy other people's stuff and not mine. And I know I'm really good at what I do, but there must be something about me. And this feels so hard and it's so vulnerable and it's so exposing. It's like, it would be like putting together a beautiful holiday dinner and people are barely touching it. And you put in so much time and energy to planning it and spending all the money on the ingredients for it and making it look cute. And even at a certain point, you're like, oh, this is so exhausting. And I might not even want to do this again. But I'm doing it because I want to serve my family and I want to make people like really happy. And then you see like they really weren't into it. And it's very easy to go, oh my God, I'm never doing this again. That's not worth it. That's the problem. You are basing your program, your offer, whatever it is. It could even be a free thing. Okay. Only 3 people came to my first live, which was free, by the way. Okay. And one of them was suspect. It was like a prince from an unknown nation, meaning a country I've never heard of. And I could have said, I'm not doing this again. The first 4 months of my podcast, I didn't have thousands and thousands of downloads because I didn't even have social media built. It's not like I had an audience built somewhere and was driving traffic. I truly started from scratch. And I had the thought many times, this is a lot of money. This is a lot of time. And as much as I love doing this, I mean, I'm not doing this to like not make any money. And like, can't I, universe, throw me a bone? Can't I have some traction? I did have traction, but my ego didn't like it. It was never enough. I wanted more. I wanted to be like so and so and this person who's been doing it longer and had all these downloads. And it's just your ego messing with you. You've got to keep going. Do you think any most famous authors, these books you love and read, these speakers that you go and pay to see, hopefully I'm one of them. Do you think there was no rejection involved when they wanted to work with a book publisher? I can tell you personally, there's a lot of rejection involved. Do you think even your favorite actors or music artists they weren't dropped from a label? I mean, I've had guests on the show that will tell you this. I have plenty of evidence of myself that I share. It's undeniable, but it's so easy to forget. And it feels so fucking personal when it's your own brand, it's your own business, it's your own baby. And then the people aren't buying. It's like someone not buying your signature recipe, your signature chicken dish that you love, and you know there's other people who love it, and then you go to bring it to a bunch of people and like no one wants it, and you're like, well, God, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Maybe I really don't have it. Maybe this isn't meant for me. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe I'm not enough this, and it brings up all your stuff. Then you get stuck in that spiral unless you have someone supporting you. I'm here as a coach to absolutely show you the way and the strategy and cut out all the noise. But you know, the people who really I see the most success in, they make sure they have me, someone like me, I can only speak for myself, in their corner, that when they're in the middle and in the dirty diaper period and no one is buying, or they want to quit, or they feel like all they're doing is talking and they're annoying their audience and nothing is working and they're losing their shit, that they have someone that they can trust that's there. Not, and I don't like the cheerleader term. I'm not your cheerleader. You need to be your own inner cheerleader. And quite frankly, I don't even think that's what you need. You need someone that you trust, that you respect, who's going to serve it to you straight and not blow smoke up your ass and say, okay, this is normal. I've been doing this a long time. I've coached 150,000 people. You're in that dirty diaper period, and here what needs to happen. Let me give you an example. So one of my friends put on I'm changing some of the details because I want to protect their anonymity. One of my friends put on an in-person event, okay, and had been promoting it for months and really didn't have that many people buying. And this is someone who has a pretty good size audience. And the sales page is great. Visuals are great. The person is great. And it just, people weren't biting. And how this whole thing was structured is it wasn't even them pressing buy for a ticket. You actually had to apply first because of the nature of this event. And she came to me and was like, this is wild and something has to be off here. And that's always such a great sign to me when someone says that, because it's humbling to ask someone for help and to say something's off here. She didn't say, I can't do this. I'm stuck. No one's buying. Victim, 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 victim. No. She was like, something's obviously off in the energy, in the messaging. Something isn't landing here. Would you help me and do an assessment of this? Because I can't see it. I'm too close to it. You come from that energy, you're going to get a great and clear answer. That's the energy you would look at it if you were working for someone else and a product launch, an offering, clientele was down. You'd be able, it's not personal to you because it's not your business. success. But when it's your baby, it brings up all your shit because it feels so personal. And now you're not looking at things objectively. And now you're sinking into your own shit. And within a very short period of time, I'm talking less than 5 minutes, I saw what the disconnect was. I said, it's not sticky enough. It's not clear enough. What am I going to get for investing my time, energy, and money in doing this? And it can't be ethereal language, which I love all of you healers, my fellow intuitives and empaths, my creative thinkers. I love you guys. I know how you think, and you think it's too big. It's like you're going to have a global internal expansion, and you're going to be able to tap in to the energy of your higher self and be able to quantum leap into lands far and beyond. And why am I doing my accent when I do this? And I get it. Like I do this work. I love this work, and I get it. I believe you, and I know, and I've done this work, and that still wouldn't be enough for me to pay money for that. It's not grounded. So you can have language that is floaty. I don't mind if you have some of that, because I know that's how some of you talk and it feels good to you. But if you do not have clear, grounded language in your content when you're marketing your offers, in your actual like sign up page or information page, your sales page, words that come out of your mouth in terms of maybe you're doing like calls with people, like consultation calls and things like that, you're not going to get a grounded response. And a grounded response is someone who's taking clear and deliberate action. So why would someone take clear and deliberate action on your offers if your messaging and your language and your energy isn't clear and deliberate? And if it's not right now with me talking to you, I know for a fact you're going, I'm not sure if it is, Tiff. I don't think it is. If you're not sure if it is and you don't think it is, it's not. When it hits. When it hits, and what a great way to be able to tell if your stuff is hitting or not. If you have access to I would say someone who's like maybe eighth grade or older, a teen. Teens are missing that, what is it, their frontal cortex, where they don't think properly. There's not a great filter. Or as someone who's spectrum-y, same with a teen, they'd go, if they can't explain it to you very concisely or clearly, not approved. So there's a couple signs. All right. How did I continue to grow my signature program to where it's at today? And I've had zero doubts from the beginning. This is going to be a multi-million-dollar launch program. But I also had very level set expectations that this grows and expands over time. How many iterations of the iPhone have there been? And they just get better and better and better. Same with applications that we love and use. Maybe it's Canva, maybe it's Zoom. You get better and better and better. You refine it. You go, oh, I see that we need to do this. There's a bug here. We need to fix this. You don't go, oh, I'm scrapping it. Yeah, sometimes people get lucky and they put a product out to begin with, and it's great from the beginning. But don't think for a second there aren't different iterations and versions. Even our favorite books, like I love The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. I need to have him on the show. And this is a very well-known book. There's, books have different versions. They release a new updated version. Okay. I just released a new updated version of this podcast. It's the same show you've grown to love, that you guys binge, that you're obsessed with. Don't forget, leave the review to get my content creation made easy. Course bundle. You get my literal content planner that I use. Plus you get my fill in the blank profitable caption template. Okay. And you're getting a video training with me breaking it down. Like, period. End of story. This is valued at $477. I'm giving it to you for free in celebration of this new and improved episode. So why would you be any different just out of the gate? And I'm not saying that can't happen. There's things that I've launched were out of the gate, like my Make More, Work Less money course. Out of the gate, huge success. But does that mean I'm not going to tweak and refine messaging on the page to make it clear. Like, I'll even give you an example from that. We've had a lot of people, when you go to that page, and you can go look at it for reference, I'll put it in the show notes. We're about to end my Flash Jungle sale for it, where you get $200 off that money program of mine. So you can go look at that page to reference what I'm talking about, because the changes haven't been made yet. I recently took a step back and I looked at the page, and I also got feedback where some people thought, wait, so I'm paying hundreds of dollars for a workbook, and I'm not saying your workbook's not going to be great, but that seems like a lot. And it's like, people don't fucking read. No, you're not. It's not a workbook. This is a program. You're getting multiple video modules plus a work. It's not just some random workbook that AI created. This is a customized workbook. This was not made by Canva. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but this is a customized workbook with additional exercises you need to do. Picture a child's activity book for adults when it comes to money. And I've designed it to be fun. And there's tons of reviews and visuals of this workbook, not only on the page, but I have an Instagram highlight dedicated to it as well. But I didn't just get there and get defensive. I got curious. If it's one person who says it, whatever. But you start getting multiple people. I went, something in the verbiage is not making it clear that this just isn't a workbook. And if you look and land on the page, my tagline right underneath it is this. I think it says it's a guided workbook course. It's not clear enough. So that's going to need to be changed. That doesn't mean the program needs to be changed. We just get clearer and clearer on it. And it was still successful out of the gate, but there's always room for more success and more growth. And then we get feedback from people, and we go again and again. And you're like, Tiff, I'm not getting feedback from people. I'm not hearing from people how much they wish something was like this, or they want this improvement, or what they love, because no one is buying. Well, then that's okay. You've got to ask people to try it. This is no different than what they even do with multi-billion-dollar companies that I consult for. They still have market research groups where they take, let's say they're targeting like moms, right? They will take research groups of moms. They will either pay them or they'll pay them in product. They'll get something for their time. And they do blind taste tests. They bring them in because they want true feedback on the product and what we could do for improvements. That's what they do before even launching it. Okay. And some people are like, should I do a beta where I'm just launching it to a few people? You can. I don't feel you need to do that, because what happens is a lot of you guys do a beta test and then you don't charge for it. And now you're doing all this work and you're not getting paid much for it. I would rather you put the motherfucker out there and get paid. And then you can have some beta testers that are in it, maybe some clients, private clients from yours or past clients from yours. You can offer it to them at a discount or for free. So you have some beta testers in there who are going to do it in exchange for feedback, but then you're also selling it. Okay. Like you got to be careful, because a lot of this stuff your mind tells you is, well, it has to be perfect before I put it out. I have to do more research. I have to get more clear before I put it out. You get your best feedback by putting it out. I'm not saying to not set it up for success, but there's no way you're going to know if something works until people are buying it. Period. End of story. And if they're not buying it, you have a problem with your marketing. You have a problem with your content strategy. You have a problem with your messaging. You have a problem with your visibility, right? Like, you can have 1,000 people in your audience, but you've got to make sure that as many of those 1,000 people as possible, even 300 people, are seeing your offer and seeing it repeatedly. So how did I grow this from it being like, it started at, I think my first time I offered it, I don't know, 70,000. Then it became right 100 and something. And then we got into the like high 200s. And then I think last year it was 400,000. So steady growth. And I only offered that particular signature program of mine once a year. Now, Did I think for sure all these other years except this year, this is bizarre. Why aren't more fucking people buying it? Like, this is the fucking gold. Like, this is insane. I would have been shook if I were in my ideal client's shoes and I landed on this and what I provide in there. I'd be like, oh my God, I just hit the holy grail. Finally, someone is giving it, serving it straight. Someone is actually telling me exactly what I need to do and not do, and isn't just like giving me information. We're implementing the information. It's like, what is going on here? And I had those thoughts, and I would have the thoughts of, God, I'm seeing other people's stuff, and other people are spending all this money on these programs that aren't really teaching them shit, or it's fantasy marketing. And I would get resentful and I would get angry. And I just want you to hear that from me. Like, yeah, you should believe in your stuff enough where it's irritating when you see that. But then I stopped and depersonalized it. Okay, what would I say if this is, I didn't know, I wasn't Tiffany Carter, right? I was looking at a client's brand. I was looking at a big company's brand and looking at this particular offer, you know, whether it's digital, whether it's physical, but in this case, right, this is a virtual group coaching program. And I looked at it and I went, I have a visibility problem. And it's very clear percentage wise, the direct correlation with the amount of people who saw my offer that had enough trust built with me, that weren't like total strangers, that you could see. That's why, right, it kept increasing every year. I wasn't changing this program. I didn't change the name of the program. I might have refined the messaging and got clearer on the messaging. And then we do a fun brand shoot for it with a theme for the launch every year, because that brings up my energy and makes it interesting for me and fun. I could use the same fucking graphics every year and no one would likely remember, but I needed it to feel fun and exciting, right? So I have that. What changed in my case was my one, level of visibility, number of people seeing this offer, but qualified people who know they need it, people who are sick of being in their own shit and want help, people who are finding it going, oh my God, thank God she's offering something. Like, I need to learn from her. And that there's enough trust built with these strangers to spend money on a signature program, right? The program, the pre-launch pricing is $2,997. Full launch pricing is $3,997. And I have payment plans as well. And don't be asking if you can get in it. It's a wait list now, but I only offer it once a year. And it sold out this year. If you were following along, it sold out actually in 2 days. I was like, okay. So my plan worked, but keep in mind, I'm pretty sure this is my 4th year running it. Okay. But wouldn't you run something and continue to refine it and invest in having help picking apart your messaging and really digging deep on it and paying for a brand shoot and all that? Wouldn't you be willing to do that, knowing from one 5-week program that you love putting on, that I show up, because I'm an overgiver, I show up 2 hours live a week for 5 weeks, and then I have a bonus Q&A week. So fine, we'll say 6 weeks. So 2 hours times 6 is 18 hours live over 6 weeks, $4 million. You're telling me you wouldn't keep going and invest money in getting more visibility and building more trust and learning how to do that and managing your fucking insanity of your brain and how vulnerable and wild all of this is? I'm never going to take that away from you. This shit is wild, especially if you are someone who's highly sensitive like me, who grew up in an abusive environment with a narcissist, where I'm already working, so to speak, against deeply rooted tapes that play. So I already have to manage that anyway. Okay. I am not, when I say I am not a conventional entrepreneur, I am not. This is not normal. That's why I keep telling you, if I can do this, I know you can do this. The problem is you stop because it feels so uncomfortable. And then you're looking for the fucking certainty. Oh, I need to know this is going to pay off. Really? So you're placing that kind of demands on God, on the universe. I need to know that this marriage isn't going to end in a divorce. I need to know for sure it's going to be worth having kids. I need to know for sure if I do this workout plan or I do this new health protocol that my hormones will absolutely be healed. Wow. Interesting where that's coming from. It kind of sounds like an angry teenager, like you have an inner teenager in there that needs to be heard. What's certain is what you don't change, you keep choosing. You're telling me you wouldn't even put in 2 years, 3 years to make $400,000 from a 6-week program. You wouldn't even make 175. What about even 75 grand for that? You're telling me that doesn't excite and delight you, where you're helping people and that, yes, you need to refine and improve over time. And then it just grows over time. You just want to pack it up because your first time out of the gate was crap. Well, how much did you set yourself up for success? And maybe you did. Okay. I mean, right now I have 2 private coaching spots in my 2-month private program that are open. That's very rare. I don't share the link publicly anymore because we would end up with hundreds and hundreds of people who just apply just to make themselves feel good. I'm not saying everyone would do that or they want to like try to get on a call with me. This is the most exclusive way to work with me. My ass is not cheap. People get loans to work with me. It's a business loan. This is a tax write-off. I'm a high level growth strategist and online marketer. If you want the holy grail where it's customized and you're getting all of this, and we literally launch your stuff in real time together, which is why you have to do a minimum of 2 months with me, you can DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. You can also email us. I'd prefer you DM me and we can go from there. But I need to see you want it badly enough to take that action versus you just applying because I want to do this, or let me just see Tiffany's process and see how much this is. If you're doing stuff like that, guess what's going to happen? People are going to do that to you. If you're looking at other people's launches and you're looking at other people's stuff and trying to reverse engineer it on your own and figure it out on your own and kind of emulate what they're doing, and you're not buying, then you're going to attract that. If you want to know how it's done, you have to pay for it, or you can keep doing trial and error. I know I don't have the bandwidth or the mental capacity, or quite frankly, the time to waste for trial and error in my life anymore. Okay, I've already wasted enough time on shit. I would rather pay someone to show me what's up from the front, but also be aware that we have improvement over time. So I just want to let that sink in because time goes by so fast anyway. We're almost halfway through 2024. This year's going crazy fast. This time's going to pass anyway. You might as well put the damn thing out there again. So how did this continue to really grow? I pulled back and went, how can we get more visibility on the offer? A lot of you just have a visibility problem. And that's not when I say, oh, you need more followers. You don't need more followers. You need qualified people and engaged people in your audience, whether it's your email list, whether it's YouTube, whether it's TikTok, whether it's at in-person events, whatever. It's qualified people who are engaged, who have some trust built. But you sitting back and just waiting to go viral and waiting for that to happen and hoping it's going to happen and praying it's going to happen and manifesting it's going to happen, that is not a profitable business strategy. I'm not saying you can't play with all that stuff. I'm all about manifestation, but that needs to be like the gravy on it. That can't be what you're basing your livelihood on and making a shit ton of money online while giving less of your time and making more, which is why I know you listen to me because that's what I teach. Most of you already know how to trade time for money, all your time for money. And you've hit a ceiling with that energetically, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and we can't have that anymore. So there is someone who has said this phrase of, in order to land a bigger plane, you need a longer runway. So you know how there's certain airports, if you like go to like islands and stuff, where they cannot land like a big jetliner, like a 777 or 787 or something like that, right? That's why you have to like for me to go to one of my favorite places, I call it Abundance Island, Turks and Caicos. Flying from LA, I have to do like LAX to Miami and then a small plane from Miami to Turks, right? And then when I went to the Maldives, listen, this was like a drug plane. I mean, this Tiffany could have like ended up on a Gilligan's Island situation or the show Lost. I mean, this was a propeller plane, but it had jet skis on the bottom that could land on water because their airport can't handle, it's not set up, it's not equipped, it's not long enough for a bigger plane to land because you need more runway because of the speed and the weight. So you want to have a bigger launch, you need to have a larger runway. What do I mean by that? You need to backtrack into it. You need to go start launching. Your launch period does not start the day your offer drops. Your launch process absolutely needs to be starting 6 to 8 weeks beforehand. And now some of you are tripping and you're going, oh my God, 6 to 8 weeks. I don't have 6 to 8 weeks. I need this money now. That's why I teach you inside my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership what offers you can do to bring in cash now, like pop-up offers. So you can bring in cash now while you're doing the proper one to many launch process that's like 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. When I work with these big brands, any of these big brands you follow, makeup lines, clothing lines, whatever, cars, you know how fucking long this runway is? This motherfucking runway. I'm doing fall shit. We're like end of summer and fall. Look at clothing lines. Do you think when a new clothing line drops for their summer collection, that shit came up in spring? A lot of times it happened a year prior. It really messes with me with my other business. For those of you who don't know, I have an 8-figure business, TLC Enterprises, that specializes in digital marketing and branding for in the sector of like pharmaceutical, medical, health supplement lines, working with physicians, because it's a very specific type category that I'm well known in, because there's so many regulations on how you can market in the health and medical space. And so it's a specialty agency, and intellectually it heavily stimulates me, but I needed to create this brand so I could bring all the stuff that I know for sure works, that I'm privy to seeing behind the scenes at these major corporations. And then I have figured out how to massage it down to apply it to the small business owner so it absolutely works, because you're not working with a multi-million-dollar budget. In fact, many of you have almost no budget, and you don't need to have a big budget to land a big plane. But if you're not willing to put any skin in the game to land a bigger plane, we got kind of like a belief problem. Either you don't believe it's going to work, you're not believing in yourself or your ability. I can't make you take a risk on yourself. And quite frankly, you're already taking a risk now by not doing it. You're risking making the same amount of fucking money and continuing to trade your time for money and continue to be trapped by your own set of circumstances, to continue to keep grinding it out and your health continuing to suffer day after day and the resentment growing and growing. You're taking a risk now. You might as well take a risk that has a very high likelihood of getting you what you want, don't you think? That was the conversation I had with myself. Okay, so talking about this runway, how do we build that? And I chose to experiment with ads. Now, I have experimented with ads for a couple of years, but I chose to do it in a different way. And it's not just, oh, let's boost a post and more people see it. No. It has to be more strategic than that. I wanted to get more people who had trust built with me and a connection built with me that were primed. And then once I dropped Selling with Soul and the offer was available, they already went on a few dates with me. Okay. To think that someone is just going to buy something at that level, like not something that's $17. Like there's a lot of people, a lot of you guys who don't know me that well, or maybe you just saw one video of mine on TikTok or you listen to one podcast episode. if there's spots in the posse, you'll invest in the posse. It's $100 a month. Like that's not, you'll do that. Right. But I would say really anything beyond that, most people won't buy. You'll buy someone's book, right? You'll buy that. You don't have to like have that much trust built to buy that or rapport built. But much beyond that, to expect someone to invite you over to their parents' house for a Sunday dinner and you haven't even gone on a date, now that's ludicrous. And that's what a lot of you are doing because you're like, well, I am great and I am trustworthy and I am a high integrity person and I know what I deliver. Well, they fucking know that. They don't know how great you are. And a lot of people have been scammed by people online or scammed by people in their lives or have grown up how I did, where I saw people saying one thing and doing another. It takes a lot to build my trust. I'm very sus of most people and most things, which is also why I'm so good at doing marketing for any type of business, because I know how, if you can gain trust from someone who is as jaded as I can be, you can do it with anyone. That's why my stuff works. So there's actually a gift in the fact that I can be a little jaded and I'm kind of looking like for the red flags and stuff because I don't want to be hurt and I don't want to be screwed over. Right. So what can you do? So what I did this time is that longer launch way. I created a something that was free, that was high value, and we ran ads to that. And they weren't paying anything, so straight money out of my pocket. Okay, meaning was I getting people signed up for my email list, qualified people? Yes. So I was getting something for it, but it was really more giving. Okay. It's called long tail marketing, where it's a lot of you guys are looking at, well, if I do this and I spend this ad, I want this back. You're not going to make a shit ton of money that way. That's the short game. It might work once in a while. It doesn't work. Like that's like having a bunch of one night stands and expecting to have an amazing, clear, solid connection with someone. You might get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not to say those can't be fun sometimes, a little tryst here or there, but you're not going to really get the deep stuff. So made sure to have something that was free. And this was not my 3 days to make bank live training. That was also free. We're talking about, I'm talking an initial thing. Some examples of that: ebook, mini course, a training guide, a recipe, but it has to be good. It cannot, nothing can be, because you'll lose trust from someone. So we ran ads to it. And once we saw the ads were really working, we ran ads on Meta and TikTok. I'm amazing at ads. I don't run the logistics of the ads anymore. I'm amazing at the creative of the ads, what to say in the ad, what goes in the ad, all the things. And so that went out. We had that running. I feel like it ran for most of January. Okay. It for sure ran. It was running the whole time, January, and even running when I was promoting 3 days to make bank. I did not promote this initial free thing organically, meaning in my free content. And then I had another free thing that was even more wow, which is my now famous 3 days to make bank. It's my online training I do once a year. And those people who were already brought in and had trust built because I gave them something, and what I gave them wasn't some bullshit and wasn't some cheap shit. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe she gave this for free. Then people got in my world. Then they listened to my podcast. Then they had a connection to me. Then they watched more of my content, read more of my stuff, were on my email list, saw that I wasn't some gross person, that I'm actually a genuine, real, but also not well person. And I'm sure there are people who also were like, she's not for me. And that's okay too, because that's all right, then go. And then the other people were like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't know about you sooner. She's for me. So then we started marketing and sharing about joining my free live training, my 3-day live event. Oh my God, Tiffany's not even trying to get me to buy something. She's giving me something else even for free. And it's that high level. Think about the kind of trust that builds. It's like, okay, I'm not being whack-a-dude with some email fucking sequence, trying to shove some course down their throat after one date. She's really courting me. And we like to be courted, don't we? Who doesn't like to be courted? Especially when you know it's genuine. It feels good. Court your fucking people. Okay? Stop trying to be so quick to get laid or get whatever it is you want or get the ring. Do some courting. You're going to have to wait, but it's going to be worth it. So then our 3 days to make bank, I mean, I don't even know. Was it 5,000 people? It was insane. It went viral, in fact, literally. And then what happened even after day one of it, people were so shooketh that they were sharing. It was insane. Visibility, but then you have to deliver the goods. So then they're in there and people are like, oh my God, this is incredible. And then when I dropped Selling with Soul, it was like, I have to do it. I'd be stupid not to do it because what I'm already getting and learning for free from Tiffany, I can only imagine what it would be like to actually invest with her. Like, this is a no-brainer. And it sold out in 2 days. And I was shook. I remember my brand director was texting me. I also put myself in the energy of having this be fun and easy. So I had a speaking event down in Palm Springs. I could have, booked myself somewhere cheap and had it paid for by someone else, or I could put myself in abundant state and booked myself in a super bougie hotel so that I was in an abundant state, which is also an investment. It was a visually interesting place. So then people are also watching all of my stuff because it's like, ooh, this is so cool. And the place was even better than I expected. I was in a great energy. I was feeling expansive and fun, and this is light and this is delightful. And whoever's going to come and is meant to come is going to come. But I had to put myself in that state. I made sure my team of people who I pay and the people I don't pay to support me all knew well in advance when the launch is, the launch dates. I asked for what I needed in terms of additional support and vibes and all the things. So I'm sipping on my delightful room service iced coffee that was hand pressed in my room for me with one ice cube taken at a time. It was like crafted for me in my room. I was like, okay, this is the right amount of extra for me. And I was getting ready in the bathroom. I looked down and Samantha's like, she was like, we're sold out. And then she put the number, and I can't remember the number exactly. And I went, what? And I go, are you sure? She goes, I didn't believe it either. I had to look 3 times. She's like, what do you want to do? Like, you have day 3 today and it's already sold out. It's done. I mean, it was really like 36 hours. And I was like, holy shit, because I allowed for there to be room for this to be bigger than my wildest dreams. I didn't have a number. I don't like when you guys do numbers. I'm going to do another. I talk a lot about like manifestation and all this stuff on my TikTok. So you definitely need to be on there. But I really need to teach this whole thing with numbers because I know a lot of you guys do it and we're taught to do it kind of in business or in corporate because there has to be some metrics, but it's fucking with you guys. I had like an overarching goal of what I wanted, but I said, you know what? I'm going to also trust the universe is going to bring me that and so much more and whatever it's supposed to be. And I meant it. Okay. I meant it. And then that happened. And so, like a good business person, I went, oh my God, I can't come on here and be like, it's sold out. Sorry, bye guys. When you have all these people who maybe didn't press the button right away on day 2 because they haven't watched the replay yet. Maybe there's someone who's more like me. I'm not someone who buys first mention. This is also why I remind you guys that you have to keep talking about it. It actually takes more mentions now than ever. It's really 9 to 12 times. Someone needs to think about it. It's not that they're like, I don't trust you. It's more like belief in themselves. And am I really going to do it? And then they go through all sorts of nonsense in their head. And what does this really apply to me? And will this really work? And you have to give people some grace and space to do mental chewing on things. And I was like, okay, but in integrity, I keep this program capped because I know the number of you crazy asses that I can support in integrity so that you feel heard and seen Because there's nothing I hate more than a membership or a group or a live event where you just feel like cattle. You feel like a fucking chicken in a broke down government run chicken coop where there's like thousands of chickens. It's like, that's not expansive. That doesn't feel good. So I asked myself a better question, not what are we going to do? I mean, this is great, but da, 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 da. No, said, okay, universe, with my iced coffee. It was probably like $27 iced coffee, but you know what? The $27 iced coffee made me another 400 grand. So we like this trade. And I went, all right, how can I serve more people in this container, but keep the integrity and the high level and quality of coaching that all of my stuff is known for, and the depth and the heart connection? How can I do that? And it came to me. And a longtime protege of mine, private client for a long time, but also someone who I have hand coached for years. Shout out Emmy, love you. I won't go into the weeds with it, but has a very personal, and she shared publicly about this. She now has, and I don't think this is the proper term anymore, so forgive me if it's not. Imagine having a baby, and some of you might know how this is. And now this is a baby that requires 24/7 care, likely for the rest of its life, and how that changes your life. So that's the situation. And I was like, you know what? I feel like, she wants to be bringing in money. She can't be running her businesses how she was running before. That's not an option anymore because things have changed. And there's almost no one I trust with my people, not to poach them, not to screw me over, that can deliver. And so I brought her on. And as someone who is the lead ProjectME coach already, but I brought her on a bigger level because in order to be able to serve that many people, there isn't enough Tiffany and there's not enough Tiffany energy. And so we did. And then I could open more spots. And then those filled up. And then those filled up. And then those filled up. And then those filled up because I allowed room for there to be a way. So the long and the short of it is, you've got to keep going on some offer you believe in. A lot of you put something out there, and when it doesn't catch, you go build another course, you go build another offer when the offer's not broken. What's broken is your energy and your mindset around it, but also that you're not continuing to refine, or you're doing it from your ass and you have no idea how to create messaging that connects. You have no idea how to actually launch something. And anyone out there, God, I feel like I have to say this. I'm sure it's going to piss some people off, but whatever. I don't care because you guys need to hear this. Anyone out there who is marketing themselves like, I'm just energetically and intuitively guided to do my launches, and I only do things from my divine feminine and that feel flowy and that feel good and da da bida bada bada boo. They're full of shit. Or their entire marketing strategy is that, and you're falling for it. And that's what I call fantasy marketing, where you just can sit back and be la-di-da and I'm going to get some magical random download, and then I'll just follow that. And then because I'm doing that and I'm in my flow and my divine, then all the people flow to me. I'm waking you up from this right now. Listen, we've all fallen for shit like this, okay? I'm waking you up from this. Can you imagine saying this on the Shark Tank and anyone investing in? You know why? Because that I'm not saying to not incorporate divine feminine. I'm not saying to not incorporate intuition. I'm all about that. That's very important, okay? But you've got to have real business strategy to have a real business and make real baller cash. And if you don't want to believe me, that's on you. If you're like, oh, this other person says there's this other magical way. Okay, well, then you tell me any major business that you really see, if that was really a way, they would be doing it. Okay. I'm just wanting to make sure I point that out for you. You have to incorporate and have clear structure and strategy that feels good to you while you combine the creative energy, the messaging, the branding, the names, the words, the feels, the story for the thing. So I built enough trust and connection with people with the longer runway so that more people would buy. The catch is your launch period is longer, and so your gratification is being delayed, right? It's a longer period before you see that cash. That doesn't mean my business wasn't cranking in the cash all along. It just wasn't coming in from that particular offer yet. So, and look what happened. And already in the first quarter of 2024, there's $1 million. Now, I'm going to wrap up with this. This is really important. Besides the fact that you need to be in the Posse membership, I think you're getting the point. And even if you are in Selling with Soul right now, maybe you missed the boat on it. Maybe you just learned about me. There's no reason to not be in there. Weekly live trainings from me and other special guest experts. You get a membership vault that is filled with all these prior trainings on all the things. But most importantly, this is a safe space of support where you can get your questions answered. And by people who are ideal clients and who give a shit, this group is highly monitored by me and my safety and security teams. There's no bullshit in there. And if there is, these people are gone quick. Like, I don't play. Anyone who's been in any of my stuff knows this. So make sure you go and look at the links to take your next money move action. They're in the show notes. You can swipe up or in the description here on YouTube. So what I want to say about any launch numbers, because I used to get very discouraged when I would see people going, I have $30,000 months. I have $60,000 months, 10,000, 100,000. I like breaking down the math. That's why I share the receipts in my Instagram and Facebook stories. I have a highlight of my receipts. You can go back and look at them. I show you what the net is. Okay. Did I net $1 million? No, I did not. And here's what also didn't happen. Did the full $1 million come from this exact offer? No. I call this the ancillary effect to doing a launch. And this is going to shook with you. And if you've gotten to this point in this episode, I want you to take a screenshot and share this episode and share this with someone, share this with your audience. There's no way this isn't going to shook you. The ancillary effect is because of the visibility you've created, because of the additional connection and therefore trust you've created, there's going to be people in your audience, people in your personal life, a friend who knows a friend, a stranger who knows a stranger, where you're going to get more followers. You're going to get more people signing up for your free stuff, more podcast listeners, more readers, more people in your universe because you're so visible and you've made yourself visible. Let's say you got 10 more followers. Well, those 10 followers also, each of them have followers, right? So some of them are sharing your stuff or they're just talking about it. Hey, I found this whack ass chick who's like your rich bestie and you need to follow this girl. This is the kind of stuff that happens. So maybe in this case, Selling with Soul might have not been the exact fit for that person, but maybe they wanted to buy something else from me. They bought my Make More Work Less guided workbook course, right? They bought my money course. Maybe they went into the Posse. Maybe they ended up hiring me, which is what happened. I got a very sizable contract to work with a real estate group who is wanting to just take over and come at it. And I won't share because it's way too good of a thing what we came up with. Listen, you work with me, I don't care how saturated as an industry is, I will find an angle. Always. There's always room for something different and fresh in any industry. So that's what they wanted from me, right? They wanted my brain, my intellectual property, and to really stand out for this group. And it was worth it to them. And it's over $300,000 contract that came from them and several people on their team watching 3 Days to Make Bank. they came in because I'm teaching, right, how to sell more. I'm teaching a different technique that applies to any type of industry and business. And they were like, this woman is not normal. She comes at things from a different way. We need to see if what we can do to get her working on our stuff. And therefore, I did. So you get the ancillary effect. I got an over $300,000 contract from this, which is $300,000 in order to blow up your business to make tens and tens of millions of dollars is nothing. And it's a tax write off. And it's the best move I know for a fact they'll ever make. This will be laughable. I was like, I should be charging you more. And you might be going, oh my God, no one's going to pay me $300,000, Tiffany. I don't teach money. I'm a healer. I do permanent makeup. It's all relative. You could end up having someone come at you out of the blue. I've seen it with so many clients come at you out of the blue saying, hey, I don't see you have any current offering for like a day-long apprenticeship. I'm not sure if it's something you offer, but I would love to hire you and spend the day with you to learn your eyebrow techniques. And it's like, if that's something that interests you, yes, then we make that available. You're not leaving the room for expected and unexpected abundance. And this is what happens. And then the trickle effect of this, it's not just during the launch. My cart's been closed. It's been sold out. Selling with Soul's been sold out. But I'm still getting business and sales from people who were in that entire runway, nurturing, dating period that for whatever reason, they might have not bought then because of life circumstances, or they're someone who's been screwed over and they're super sus and they needed to be in my world for longer. Okay. And now they're going, oh my God, I got a fucking great corporate speaking gig out of it. Cause I do like empowerment speaking, but I combine that with teaching people how to sell in a way that feels good in organizations, which obviously affects their bottom line. I got that out of it. So there's stuff still coming in from that launch. So don't look at it like it's just that launch. Even if you only got one person who bought, maybe you got no one who signed up. Okay. Cause you didn't, got no one to sign up your first time around. Are you saying that no one bought anything else from you during that period? Do you get what I'm saying? So how much did I net from this? We would have to subtract, right? What I did in ads, and what I did in ads is not what you think. I am more conservative, and I can be conservative to a fault. We probably ran $30,000 in ads. I mean, you have to understand these people who you watch, that the ones that I know aren't full of shit that are having multi-million-dollar launches, they're spending $250,000. And I give mad props to them. I have that money to spend, but ads are still a gamble. So I keep expanding the amount of money I gamble with, but it does scare me. So I would say it was around like 30,000, 35,000. Plus I had to obviously make sure someone was paid to manage those ads. So let's just round it up. Let's say it's 40,000. I did a brand shoot for this launch, but I did it for all my launches for the year. So let's just tack on another 10. And I'm over exaggerating. I prefer to over exaggerate these expenses for you. So let's say we're at 50. Now let's talk about the cost of the platforms and the tech and more time and energy from the team. And this is so exaggerated, but let's add 20. So let's just say we're at 70. Okay. Let's say we're at $70,000. Now, if I even want to be more obnoxious, let's go to $100,000 in expenses because of me paying coaches, paying people on my team to have the best support possible, working with people to have launches like this in general, not just this one, but all of them. So let's say, I don't know. I mean, I probably spend $25,000 a month on coaching, but let's just we're now at 100. So we're at 100,000 and that's before taxes and credit card fees. So now we're at 900,000 before taxes and credit card fees. Let's just say we cut it in half. Okay. Like I have write-offs and all that stuff, but just for the sake of doing this. I netted $450,000, which we know is really more than that because obviously I have a lot of tax write-offs, blah, 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 blah. But again, I want to just give you savage numbers, not fantasy numbers. Netting $450,000 for a 5-week fucking program and for doing a launch that was in the first quarter of 2024. Your ass is telling me you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't invest in that. That's not worth your time. I could make a choice. I mean, I also have my other business too, right? But I could easily make the choice to not launch anything again for the rest of the year. And that sounds really fun to a lot of you guys. I only launch Selling with Soul once a year. That doesn't mean I don't ever launch any other programs. I don't have to. That's the beauty of it. You can do it one time. You can do it twice a year. It's what also feels good to you. That's the stuff that can be customized. I mean, imagine that. So what you don't change, you keep choosing. You don't change your setup. You don't go for the thing and take the risk and stop being so obsessed with certainty. If you want to be obsessed with certainty, be obsessed with what is certain to not change if you don't really go for it. Going for the half-ass might feel safer, but it actually takes just as much energy as going for the gold. Like, let's use an Olympic analogy. Do you think that any of those Olympians are let's just go for the bronze? It might feel safer. It's just as much effort to go for the bronze as it is for the gold. Go for the fucking gold, baby. This is here. You have someone here who's willing to teach you the way, guide you the way, show you the way. You've got it. You just got to get out of your own way and do the thing. So make a move, join the posse membership. If your money noise is so out of control and you're stuck and you're frozen and you don't know how to get unfrozen, then there's the two things you're going to do. You're going to do the Make More Work, Less Money course. Period. End of story. And you're going to do it, and you're going to make yourself do it. And I've made it fun. It's not boring. Believe me, you'll see. You're going to do that, and you're going to go on the posse, because you continuing to be stuck and overwhelmed and confused and not taking action. You just keep reinforcing this, and more time's going to go by. You've got to make a different move. Let me know if you loved hearing the behind the scenes breakdown of this, because I'm more than happy to do this with other areas of my business. But I need you to DM me on Instagram. Let me know, share the show, let me know. So I don't want to put things out there that you're not interested in. I know I would have really wanted this, especially done this transparently. It would have been like, oh my God, you know what? I can fucking do this. And oh, that's how these bitches are making all this money. Well, we don't know what all of them are making. I can only vouch for myself and a select handful of other people. But I'm telling you, this coin is here and you want this life. Like, it's laughable. It's vulnerable. It's scary. It brings up all your shit. That's the catch. But it's like laughable. Like, this is wild. How is this happening? 16 hours for $450,000 net profit. I used to work 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week in my corporate job. And I know y'all know what that feels like. This is here for you. Go leave a 5-star written review of the show on Apple. Make sure you get my content creation made easy gift in celebration of the new and improved and unleashed, unbothered, and unhinged ProjectME. Put your name or Instagram handle in there. Take a screenshot. Then you're going to email it to us at support@projectmewithtiffany.com. The instructions are in the show notes and in the description on YouTube for you. Don't wait on this, because I'm only doing this for a short period of time. And this is a great place to really fast track your way to be able to cash in on your content. Okay. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.